Hello, everybody. Thanks for taking some time with us today to watch this video. I'm Tom Thompson here. I'm with Dr. Anna Benvenuto, my dyad leadership partner in our new and redesigned leadership model here at Porter Medical Center. And that actually is the topic of our team's conversation with you today, is our redesigned leadership model. We're always open to your questions. This is a model. We're not going to portray the model visually for you today, but it is in each of your managers' mailboxes today and will be just posted in your departments just so you can have a visual to go along with what we're talking about today. What we'd like to talk about is, again, why are we redesigning our leadership model, and to give some more background about it and end up with some next steps. So I've had the pleasure of working with Porter Medical Center now for 1 year. And early on in my time with Porter, we started a planning process. And along the way, it became evident that we had an opportunity to become more of one organization instead of an organization that too often looked like a hospital organization and a clinic organization and a long-term care organization. So when I refer to integration, that's what I'm getting at. That was one of the key driving forces behind redesigning how we lead, was to become more one organization, both clinically, functionally, as we do our work as one organization, and maybe as important as those first two, culturally, how we act and work together as an organization. The second driver behind changing our leadership model was an opportunity to increase meaningful physician leadership roles across our organization. We've always had leadership roles in the hospital setting and Helen Porter's setting and in our clinic settings for certain, but not as part of one leadership model, and never at the senior executive level with physicians leading across the whole organization. And why this is important is it really puts us in a better position to achieve our goals, which are to reduce the total cost of care for our communities, to enhance the patient's experience, to improve the health of the population we're privileged to serve, and fourthly, to create a more fulfilling work environment for all of us so that we are really empowered to grow and work together better as an organization. Another reason for this leadership model is to make a determined shift away from a very siloed and hierarchical, that's a hard word for me, way of leading. You know, we tend to lead by job function, and we tend to lead by where our service is located, and that's important. But it's also important to transition toward a teams-based way of leading, because it can bring more resources to our work. And so Anna's going to speak in a second here about our dyad leadership model and the power that that brings to our work, to have more people involved in making decisions and taking actions, which results in better quality of decisions, more timely decisions, and more accountability for the decisions we reach as an organization. Dr. Benvenuto, please.
Thanks, Tom. I'm really excited to be transitioning into this dyad leader model. Having served in leadership at Porter over the past several years, the ability to be partnered with a highly functional administrative partner really unlocks the potential of a team. Each member brings a different perspective and a different training, and also a set of ideas that we can work together, synthesizing the inputs that we get from our staff at all levels. So it really allows us to improve the capacity of our team to lead, and also to respond to any situations as they arise. As we all know, in the last year, we've been through a lot of challenges, whether it has been COVID that we continue to lead through, the cyber attack. We went live with a medical record in the ambulatory practices, and now we're working towards going live with the rest of our organization this coming year. The ability to share perspectives and approaches really unlocks the potential of a team. And so I really appreciate the ability to be able to work together and take take advantage of each of our expertise, and also be able to challenge each other as a group, and as partners. The relationship of the dyad partnerships, to the rest of the organization really helps us to um, lead in a more flexible and comprehensive way, so that we can think not just about each individual department, but actually how the organization functions as a whole. They will also be working, not just as the dyad partnerships, but also in partnership and triad partnerships with our medical group management team, as well as our nursing leadership. And that really helps bring to bear the most resources to any department, to both think about what are the current challenges, and how do we anticipate the ways we can grow together as an organization. Um, the other piece that you'll notice around our leadership redesign has to do with the way in which the other functional leaders support the organization in all care areas. One thing that's come through loud and clear is that people feel a different level of support based on where they sit in the organization. And we want to be able to empower all of the teams to really be able to bring their resources in a seamless way, regardless of where someone sits within the organization, whether it's at Helen Porter, whether it's in the ER, whether it's in the infusion center, or whether it's in one of our ambulatory clinics. So the question is, why now? And that's a question we've gotten a lot. And I actually, when I first thought about the model, I thought, gosh, we have so much going on. How could we possibly take on a complete shift in how we're working together? And really what I thought was, how can we not? We are a stressed organization. We have been through a lot, and we have continually done more with less. And so thinking about how can we, in a very intentional and streamlined way, build capacity within our organization to support our staff better. And so with the threat of Epic, with the threat of COVID, with the opportunity of Epic, with all of the other major projects and initiatives that we have going on, both at the department level and the organizational level, we had to figure out a way to do better so that we could have a better and higher level of accountability at all levels of our organization. So the goal is really to be more responsive by having a team-based approach at every level. As you all know as well, we are having transitions out of the organization at the senior level, senior leader level. And while this can create some stress and anxiety, both for people who work directly with those individuals, as well as people for even in our community wondering what's happening at Porter that people would leave, trusted people, people we like, people we respect. And having had long relationships with all of them, I can say that I respect their work. I'm grateful for their service. Our organization is better for all of their work. And also, with change comes a time to contemplate what's the future for both individuals and an organization. And I was, while it's hard to say goodbye and to people that we like and trust and are grateful for, it was also the right time for them personally and professionally. And we thank them so much for the impact that they've made. We are certainly a better place for each of them. So we are also excited about our new leaders. Our new leaders we had a great pool of candidates, and we were very proud and excited to welcome those that were chosen. We really looked carefully both at people's backgrounds, their training, their experience, but also the way in which they work together, the way in which we envisioned a team being able to better care for each other as we care for our organization. And they bring a perspective of continuous performance improvement, a desire for high accountability, and also doing it within a culture of trust and a culture that really wants to be better for ourselves and for each other. And we're really excited for you to continue to get to know them. For those who already know them, I think there are new things to learn and know. And as we work together and deepen those professional relationships, we're excited for the direction that the team is taking. And I'll just share that this week was our first week of working in that team, and it was incredibly energizing. And I'm confident that we are going to be better for the way that we've organized. And I'm going to turn it back over to Tom to talk about what's next.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Benvenuto. And now you all can see why I'm very grateful to have Anna as my partner in leadership in the organization. And we are very excited about our new dyad leadership teams and our whole new leadership structure as it evolves as an organization. Before I just wrap up our video this morning, I would like to point out that, we'd like to say we have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. We've done an awful lot of background work to ensure our success as we head forward, but I'm sure we'll have bumps along the road, and we would definitely appreciate and be receptive to any ideas people have along the way. We ask for your open-mindedness as you embrace this new model. When you work in teams and you work in organizations that are based around teams, it takes a lot of work. It takes extra effort at communication, but we're richer in the end for it. And it's a model that I've been familiar with for many years and is deployed throughout healthcare quite extensivly. And so I think we'll all come to embrace it, enjoy it, and watch what we can do as one organization, as one Porter. So next steps. First off, our dyad leaders, and again, pointing to the fact that the organizational chart will be available and displayed in your department, so you can see how that has been laid out for the responsibilities. Those folks will be making the rounds, getting to meet people in their new roles. Many of you know the leaders that have been selected for those dyad leadership roles, but now you're seeing them in new roles, and they're learning those new roles, and they have an immense talent and skills to bring to those roles. And so we look forward to you having those interactions and getting to know them in those new ways. Dr. Benvenuto made reference to the remainder of our senior leadership team and the capacity they bring to extend even more richly their skills across our organization. And those are in the areas of quality and safety, communications and engagement, finance, and human resources, as we look to grow our goals in those areas. Now, another activity that team as a whole will be working on with our managers and with you is on adopting this leadership model and the different tools that will make us look like one organization, and then focusing around the priority strategies that will move us along. Dr. Benvenuto mentioned a big one, which is EPIC. And EPIC certainly is about our deployment of the EPIC tool within Helen Porter in the hospital, but it's the continued refinement of that tool in our practices and as one organization. A second strategy that we're very excited about that will take shape this year is our focus around team-based care in our primary care clinics. We have been asked by our UVM Health Network to be the shining star in rolling out what team-based healthcare looks like in our clinics across the UVM Health Network. We're really excited about that. And it's an incredible opportunity to change how we deliver care to the betterment of the work environment in our patients. The third area that will start getting some traction, not start, but continue and expand in its traction in the coming weeks, is our response to our diversity, equity, and inclusion survey results. That from the survey we took last summer. Through a cyber attack and through COVID, our feedback has gotten delayed by many months. But we're very excited to take on this challenging work and have honest conversations in leadership and across our organization about how do we embrace these results and improve in our relationships with one another and as an organization in serving our communities. Our communication about our plans will continue, and we'll use all the media and vehicles we can to be effective at it and do our best. Hopefully this has been okay for you to get a little bit more of a flavor for where we're headed. As I mentioned, we're just starting that work and really rolling out this redesign. And so look for more to come as we look to be a better version of ourselves in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.